The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the advertisers, owners, or management of Pacific Telestations, LLC. For comments, opinions, and questions, please email Jess Lujan at jessthebuzz@gmail.com. The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. My in-studio guest tonight is Chief J.I. Cruz from the Guam Police Department. Good evening, Chief. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Jess. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now that you're here, I feel very safe. Very safe. So I couldn't be any better. I'm better than the governor right now because you're here with me. So anyway, but that being said, last week I had Chief Joey Nicholas here, and we were talking fire department issues, and it's not too far from your issues as well, because you guys work in concert with each other.
We do.
Again, I'll go back to the start of the administration. You guys had some great challenges. I guess proportionally, again, as challenged as the fire department was at the time, not just of police cars breaking down. I remember going into special sessions for police cars and things of that nature. You guys had those challenges of again, deployment, again, and retirement and things of that nature. And you were in the police department at that time. Now you're head. Where are we at this point? And take us from those challenges to where we're at right now.
I will tell you, Jess, that when we take a look at those challenges and we look at what this current administration, Governor Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, has done to infuse into the Guam Police Department, we are much better off now than we were then. A lot of issues that we faced with lack of personnel, lack of police cars, just across the board, we were faced with many issues. Obviously, the mass exodus in the government of Guam in 2000 had created such a big void in the Guam Police Department that we're just finally recovering from.
Yeah, you're still feeling it.
You're still feeling the fallout from that, if you will. And I will tell you, I think that we are much better off now than we are then, than we were then, and that's really attributed to, number one, good support, great support. First off, from our people. Our people are very understanding of the issues and the challenges that we face. Great support from Governor Calvo. Especially Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, being a former police officer, he really reaches out to public safety. So whether you're a firefighter or a police officer,
and he oversees public safety.
So whether you work at DOC, you work at Customs or Fire or GPD, he's looking out for that, for what's in the best interest of the public safety community, so that we can better serve our people. So as we move forward now, I think we're in a much better place. We've adopted a new strategy or a model of policing, if you will. Where we used to take a look at traditional policing that was very reactive, we've now embraced the community-oriented policing strategy, something we've coined as the Mandanya strategy. Where
I had your folks on my radio show weeks back.
Yes, absolutely. So it's all about policing the community from a different perspective. So with that, with a lot of outreach from to the community, and the reciprocity involved in that, we see that we're definitely in a much better place. We've got things like the bill that was introduced and then signed into law, introduced by former Senator Brant McCready, Public Law 33-163, that allows us to continue to recruit and train up to 40 police officers per year over the next 5 years. That's something we've never had before. And that's instrumental, because it gives us the ability to go in there and not have to worry about that issue. We just continue to recruit and work with DOA, work with the administration to support the funding for that, and get us to a point where we need to be.
Now, Chief, let me ask you this, because when you first come in, you evaluated where we're at, where the police department was at in regards to your men and women in the police department, as well as the reserves. You were concerned about, I guess, standards, meeting certain standards, okay?
Absolutely.
And you said they required more training. Let's make sure they're in concert with this training, because we can feel. I mean, a lawsuit can happen.
Absolutely.
A lawsuit can happen, and all
Absolutely.
it takes is one to bankrupt us.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
So that being said, you put that mechanism in place to again to further enhance these men and women's training to get them up to par. Where are we at with that? Are they all done now with it?
We've taken a look at that, and we've seen where some of the gaps were, and we are continue to move forward.
Sure.
I am confident, and I believe that the Post Commission is just as confident. Post stands for the Police Officer Standards and Training. So as we've taken a look at that, because that piece of legislation, the post legislation, requires that even our civilian volunteer police reserves need to be at the same level as our full-time officers, because they're all Category 1 police officers, that we needed to be on par with that.
Sure.
I'm comfortable that with regards to their training, we are. We saw where the gaps were. We've identified where the issues were. We've found funding to be able to get them that training, and that's where we're at now. We have moved forward so that they are on par with our police officers.
You know, one of the things I've got to say that was a great challenge, and I think I don't know if there's. I think by virtue of title they're still in place, but I don't think they're in place in the sense of they don't know where their duties start and where they end. The police commission.
Yes.
The police, because I know my sister served as the chairman of the police commission that within this administration, but she was really frustrated because she didn't know what their duties were versus the Civil Service Commission.
Sure.
And who had overruling power over what. And I think personally that it's inorganic, you know. And I wish, I know a situation not too weeks ago that you guys were going through. And if you had some kind, again, of a police commission that was well thought of, you would have easily handed over to that entity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, that is something, again, Jess, we're taking a look at. How can we look at that legislation that brings the police commission to bear and understand really what their role is, and kind of figure out who they are, and really how do they come to support the Guam Police Department, because you're absolutely right.
And an independent body at that
absolutely,
too as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, as you know, I've had to take the measures, the steps a few weeks ago to make sure that it was done correctly. But you're right. If the commission's duties and responsibilities were clearly defined, and that's something we're taking a look at. That's something I could easily have handed off to them to take a look at and be able to deal with that. So that's something we're continuing to work on. I believe that with the current administration, with the guidance of Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, that we'll be able to figure that out and get them to be to function more as a police commission to assist, continue to assist the Guam Police
Chief,
Department.
without going into specific cases at this point, because those cases I think one is being adjudicated, one is still under review. Okay, but we've seen again, I guess the importance of a body cam. I guess the importance of a well-equipped police department. Okay.
Yes.
Now, and I know you're moving forward. We had spoken about this. It all comes down to.
Yes.
It comes down to money. But we're in a different world now. I mean it's sad that it's not sad because a lot of crimes that are committed right now, and you know those people that have been perpetrated, they go out on social media, look at what our cameras caught, right? But if our private citizens, again, out equip our police department, that's a sad statement.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are taking a look at that. There are several different things to take a look at just with regards to that. With regards to our equipment, again, we continue to work that. You're absolutely right in your statement that it's led by that almighty dollar.
That's right. That's right.
Do we have the funding and the sources, the resources to be able to outfit our police officers? I think the answer is yes. We just have to be creative and manage our monies correctly, be fiscally responsible, so that we are able to fund these types of things. There's other things to consider as well. There's liability, there's legal ramifications, and we need to make sure that all those matters are taken into consideration as well. because you're right. The issue of the body cam, I always call it a double-edged sword.
Sure.
If you're not careful, you might, that thing
right.
might cut you just
That's right. That's right.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
So we just have to be careful with that. And I will tell you, being a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, those are conversations that I've had with many of my counterparts stateside, in that they just want to make sure that while they see it as a good tool to be able to protect the officer and the public as well, there are legal ramifications because of the fact that a predominance of our cases end up in court.
Yeah, sure.
And we need to make sure that we cross T's and we dot I's, and that we're being grounded in the law to make sure that we're not violating anybody's constitutional rights.
That's right. Yeah.
So those are all things that we're taking a look at, and we're confident that as we move forward, we will get to that point.
Chief, I got to take a quick break. Pay some bills.
All right.
Be right back.